Hello, I'm Scout83, and you're watching what is this? An Avatar Conquest video. That's right. My opponent is AA, and this is on the Ekonora Village. It's the first time I had played on this map. It's an interesting map. I don't know if it's new or if it's just something I haven't run into before. Anyway, I'll see you once we get there. Alright, so interesting map. We got the town through here and everything, and we got a hill over here. So anyway, with my general army set up, I've got 2 units of Imperial Infantry on my left. In front of that, I've got sharpshooters. I've got, in my center, I've got 3 units of Black Bear Infantry. And then on my far right, wait, hold on. I miscalculated something somewhere. Okay, I got 2 in the center of Black Bear units, and then I've got 2 Black Bear infantry on my right with some Tosa riflemen on the side, and I've got 2 units of Yarikai on each flank, off each flank, and then I've got a reserve of Imperial infantry, experienced Imperial infantry. Got my general all back, and that's it for my army. Now he's opening up with artillery, and he's going to be hitting away at my sharpshooters, which I'm eventually going to loosen up. But anyway, now he's got his Yurikai out here, but he's sending some troops up over on this hill, and he's eventually going to send a pretty good chunk of his men up to take and hold this hill. This is what he's doing here with these troops. Looks like Black Bear Infantry, Royal Marines, depleted unit of Royal Marines. Anyway, he's got some Imperial Guard cavalry back here with some, so anyway, he's got some of his cavalry back here, I think, to guard his artillery piece. And now he's forming a line of the Blackberry infantry with some Imperial infantry on this side. Sir. And now see, as I said, he's got some Imperial Guard infantry moving up this hill now. White Bear infantry. So he's moving up his cavalry also up onto this hill, so he's making this a pretty formidable shot. Now my sharpshooters have retreated, but they're going to come back, so we'll see more action. Now he's pounding away with artillery, but I'm trying not to rush. So I find that rushing just makes your units more prone to breaking. Plus, you don't really want to start an attack, and if you can avoid it until you're ready, which I'm far from ready. I still got my center and right kind of weaving its way through the town here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take these forces on the far right side, and I'm going to swing them around off here and push in. And I'm going to take my sharpshooters, my Tosa riflemen, put them over here, and then outrange these forces here and put these guys opposite there. As you can see here, though, he's gonna start bringing down some of his cavalry. I'm going to counter with some of my Yuricav, send them off there, which I think he's going to bring, yeah, he's going to try to bring these guys up. I'm leaving them there for right now. Now he's really pounding away at this unit. But anyway, I've got my reserve, and I figured out that I'm going to move him over here. The reason being is I want to, if I can, take this hill away from them. See, now he's got fire from his Royal Marines firing into my units. Now I've got the sharpshooters now firing in on them, which they're nice targets on that hill. Now he's charging in. I didn't notice that before. Oh no, he stopped them. That's why I didn't notice it. Now I'm sending in my other other unit of Yarikai into the fray. I'm moving all of my cavalry over here, really just to try to make sure that they don't use, they got a cavalry advantage over here. I want to make sure they don't use it before I've got my army in place over here.
Running from the battlefield, sir.
Let's see, now he's got a clear cavalry advantage. But I'm getting my infantry over here, and I'm getting the rest of my cavalry over here. So I think he's going to pull off, if I remember right. Now I've got my army over here fighting, and I'm slowly working my way over here with the rest of my army. Now I'm going to move these guys and place these guys here. But anyway, now I've got my reserve is now getting pushed up. and it's going to be called into action because I'm going to move up and try to take this hill away from them. Part of the reason is that with this flanking maneuver here, I don't, if I can avoid it, I don't want them pulling his forces up back onto this hill, which is a possibility, which would make for a messy fight, more messy than I want. As you can see, I'm now pushing forward with these forces. I'm going to try to get around them here. He's pushing more forces onto the hill, probably anticipating my attack there. So, I've got these guys advancing. I think he sees this and he's going to start trying to move his artillery out of there, which, yeah, that's what he's doing right now. He's going to move his artillery off farther this way. And I'm going to push forward with these black bear infantry units on his left flank, which is going to put him in a little bit of a tight spot for a minute. I've got him outranged here, so he's going to eventually pull these guys back, but well, he doesn't really have a choice. Either push forward or pull back. Pushing forward is not really an option. So he's going to pull back. Let's see, he's pulling the Armstrong guns back as I move up. He's moving his Imperial Guard infantry up into these forests, really to try to counter my action over here. He's going to charge with his katana kachi. A little bit better. Well, he's charging in, but they're not going to make it because it's just too long of a run over open ground. But it is going to buy him time to get this unit kind of placed where he wants him. Anyway, but now there's going to be a fight starting over here. But while I'm doing that over here, I've got I moved up some of my units, and I'm starting to make an attack against the hill. He's got his Royal Marines here. Luckily, they're depleted. They're down to 19 now, but now he's going to try to send down his Yarikai. What I'm going to do is I'm going to counter with some of my cavalry and hit them. But I'm going to swing this unit around, and I'm going to try to come up and hit the hill to try to disrupt everything I can on the hill so that I can hopefully take the hill while he's busy with that. Now I've got this unit, which I think was routing. But anyway, they've stopped. I'm going to push them up to help support the attack here. Now that this cavalry unit is now open, I'm going to launch them up to that hill, up the hill, and I'm going to move these guys forward. In the meantime, over here, I've pushed them off, so I'm pushing these guys up. And I've now engaged with these forces here, mostly just because I don't want them to pull back and move up the hill to try to reinforce or anything, or fall back to the hill. So anyway, now I've attacked with my cavalry. So I got my cavalry up there, and while I've got my cavalry mixed in there, I'm going to push up with pretty much everything I've got in order to get them within firing range. Unfortunately, that's going to cost me all of my cavalry, but the disruption is pretty worth it, just so that I can move up all my forces without any problems. I'll move up my general, of course, to help with morale. Now you can see my center's kind of falling apart a little bit, but they're going to stop routing. I'm going to put them back into the action here in a minute. Now these guys, unfortunately, are breaking because they ran into these Imperial Guard infantry, which is tearing them up. They're going to eventually stop routing, but they're not going to. I'm not going to push them back into the action quite yet.
Damn lily-livered cowards! Your men are running,
Yes,
sir.
my men are running. Now, he's kind of getting forced off the hill now, and I'm going to push up here. I'm going to kind of split up my forces to kind of spread them out a little bit. I'm going to push enough force up there I feel I can take the hill. And see, these guys are going to stop running. I'm eventually kind of put them over here. They're kind of going to be more waiting than anything else. Now they've pushed them off. Now they're now getting pushed back into this clump of trees over here. Now he's sending some of his cavalry around here. I was kind of worried he was going to send his cavalry all the way around and try to come up right behind my army, but he didn't do that. Now he's got some cavalry over here. His general's bodyguard, that's what that is. So I'm not quite sure what he's doing with that at the moment. Anyhow, I'm just now trying to push the attack with everybody here. Now he's got his artillery back up and going, but it's easily within range of everybody once I get him in there, so at least it should be. Let's see, there we go. So anyway, I'm gonna shoot up his artillery, and his artillery is gonna run eventually. And while that's happening, I'm moving my forces up on the hill over here, and I'm going to push down here in a second with them. Now these guys are all moving. I'm going to start moving all these guys up, especially once this artillery piece moves. Now what I'm going to end up doing here is, because of this cavalry's here, I'm going to push this unit forward, and I'm going to be using this unit as a shield, kind of to try to protect this portion of my army. So I've got these Tosa riflemen. Now they're moving up into position. Now these guys are now fighting, but they have the hill advantage, which helps. Plus they're more experienced. They're a lot better than the units that are down here. At least I think they're a lot better. I could be wrong. But they seem to be a lot better from what I'm watching anyway. So anyway, now I'm engaging their Imperial infantry with pretty much this entire force over here, and I'm going to push down with them and basically come behind the Imperial Guard infantry, and I'm going to hit them from behind, and that'll get rid of them. Now he's got his cavalry unit kind of roaming around back here. I kept wondering if he was going to attack with it. He didn't. Now what he is doing here is he's going to attack down over here with these forces. Of course, he's got his Imperial Guard cavalry shooting in here. He eventually moves them into a melee, I think. Maybe not. Thought he did. But I know he's going to swing these guys off. No, the general bodyguard off around, and he's going to try to take out these guys.
You have triumphed over the enemy.
Which he does. And of course they get royally thrashed. Because they were facing a lot of fire. Anyway, those guys are going to run without seeing any more action. But, anyway. Just come up, just basically created a bowl around them, and now they're out of there. Anyway, it was a lot of fun. He put up a good fight. Anyway, I'll see you at the statistics screen. Alright, well here's this, if I can pronounce it right, the statistics. Now I deployed 1,500, he deployed 1,245. Now I lost 850 of those, and he lost 1,012. Of course, I got 974 kills. He got 830. Now, what he did have going for him is, if you watch this, I mean, I had some pretty experienced units, somewhat experienced units at any rate. They did pretty well. But he had, let's see, what all did he have? He had an artillery piece, which did really good, 166 kills. He had some Imperial Guard infantry, which, got a lot of kills. And I think they did really well until basically they got hit by my entire army. Which, there's not much he could have done about that at that point. The Royal Marines would have done really well, but they were a depleted unit when they came in. Let me see here. Of course, my army was not quite as elite as a lot of his army was. Because I think he had some Katana Yachi, which could have been very useful. He just really didn't have anywhere to use them. Except for maybe on that hill. But it was a good match. I enjoyed it. relatively went fairly even. I had more troops, and really that's what it wound up to. I was able to outextend his army and come from around the side and flank. And the hardest part of the battle was the hill, which if he had any more forces on that hill, I probably wouldn't have been able to take it, but it was a fun battle. It was a fun battle. So anyway, I want to say good game to my opponent, and thank you for watching.